How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry Chapter 8. The counterattack has begun, with 2 units being deployed. We basically have all the kids that are the distraction unit, if you will, the decoy. Basically, let all the soldiers go out there, think that everybody is out there, and try to capture them. Especially Rika, who is actually out there. However, there's also the rescue unit, the one that's actually going to go and attack the clinic. This is the big part of the counterattack. Not many people should be here, but there are armed ones. I think we have Irie, obviously. We have Kasai and Shion. Am I missing anybody? Oh, Akasaka, of course. The man, the myth, the legend, as I've been saying. So let's see how this all go. The 4 rescue unit members led by Irie were hiding in a bush next to the clinic.
行きましょう。こちら側をフォローするカメラは故障中ですから大丈夫です。
こんなとこから堂々と？うわ、怖いね。
敵は監視をセキュリティに依存しきっているようです。問題ないでしょう。
行きましょう。まずは壁沿いに伝い、所長室の裏へ。
はい。私が出るとき、窓は閉めませんでしたから。そこから入ると、すぐ脇が裏口で、そこには監視カメラと1階保安室があり、今日は2名が常駐しているはずです。地下区画前は厳重に監視カメラで見張られていますので、必ずバレるでしょう。
地下に行く前にその1階の2人を制圧しないとね。退路確保は基本でしょ。
まずは所長室から入って1階保安室。
They moved forward, walking against the wall so that they'd remain in the blind spot of the security cameras. They soon reached the window of the director's office. If any village kids saw them, they'd assume they were playing around, pretending to be spies. Irie was glad that the clinic was closed on Sundays. Yeah, that's right, if you get sick or hurt, you're out of luck on a Sunday. Irie peeked into the room. It was exactly the same as how he left it. The window was open too. The 4 of them snuck into the room through that window. Akasaka put his ear against the door to the hallway. Then he signaled the others to let them know that there was nobody on the other side. Since the clinic was closed, the mountain dogs were the only people around. It being Sunday really was fortunate. It was very quiet in the clinic. The chorus of the cicadas was the only thing that could be heard. There was a clock on the director's desk. It was almost 11:30 a.m. Shion was surprised to find herself getting hungry given all that was going on. Kasai and Akasaka checked over their weapons. Irie brought out a book of blueprints from a locked bookcase. The title said Construction Plan for the Irie Clinic.
ここが所長室です。ここが1階保安室。出てすぐそこです。監視カメラはこの赤鉛筆がそうです。
1階保安室の制圧自体は難しくなさそうだ。問題は地下ですね。
これが地下の研究区画です。ここが入り口。図面では表向きは職員用の2階への階段になっていますが、実際は地下区画への入り口が隠されています。そして階段で地下へ。
よくもこんな大きな地下を作ったものです。地上部分よりもよっぽど広いですね。
それは地下こそがこの診療所の真の姿である証拠です。
で、これが監督の認証カードでないと入れない扉と。認証カードが封印されて使えなくなってるなんてことは？万一認証カードが使えない場合にゲートの物理的突破は可能？
非常に厳重な扉で、証拠隠滅時にはそれを閉じてから内部に注水して封鎖する決まりになっています。
ということは秘密扉か。この容積を満たす水圧に耐えるということは相当に頑丈だ。
ってことは認証カード以外の方法では不可能ってことだね。
Probably best to go under that assumption.
一般用の認証カードは個別の登録抹消が可能なはずですが、私と高野さんの認証カードは商工用の特別カードと聞いています。登録抹消には 各個に設定した8桁のパスワードが必要ですから、事実上彼らには抹消できません。
将校自らが不法使用することは想定していないということですね。
それでもダメな時は一回保安室の人間に開けさせましょう。保安要員のカードなら将校の次に強力なはずです。
素直に協力してくれるとは思えませんが。
協力しないんならカードと指紋認証用に指を1本ちょんと拝借するまでです。
そうしたくはないですね。私のカードで開くことを祈るばかりです。
地下のセキュリティルームはどれです？
認証カードで入ってすぐ脇のこの部屋です。この部屋には空調もテレビもありますから、基本的に保安の方はそこに全て詰めています。上で2人をやっつければ残りの6人がいるはずです。
6人か。一気に制圧しないと難しいね。一瞬で制圧しないとほぼ確実に警報を鳴らされる。
Yep.
先に警報を切断する方法は？
And then more will come.
ちょっとわかりませんが、予備電源や予備回線があるはずです。
現実的じゃないか。セキュリティルームを制圧する方が現実的ですね。保安の連中の武装は
1階の保安は非武装ですが、1階保安室には一応銃が置かれているという話です。地下の保安は全員が拳銃を携帯しています。あとセキュリティルームにはもっと強力な連発式の銃が何丁か置かれていたはずです。
屋内での用途から考えて多分口径の短い機関拳銃のようなものでしょう。長距離での命中率はひどく落ちますが、小回りが利き近距離では十分な火力を持つ危険なものです。
地下で撃ってきた連中 MP5 でしたし、そいつが何丁持ってのはちょいと厄介ですね。でもここを制圧できれば地下は私たちの手に落ちる。監督、サトシ君は？
本当は動かしたくないところですが、敵の巣の中に放置はできません。サトシ君も安全なところに移しましょう。私の付き添いも必要です。
サトシ君はどの部屋にいるんです？
この奥の病室に監禁されています。そこは去年から彼専用の部屋になっています。
サトシ君。
The look in Shion's eyes made clear her determination. The security guards who chased after Irie were in the security room on the first floor. They had resumed their game of poker. Oh yeah, you know, we lost them and everything, but it's okay. We can always come back for some cards. They knew that the mountain dogs were combing the mountains, and they were well aware that the Institute continued to be in danger. But their job was to stay in that room. And besides, they were working hard on their poker game. Of course, they weren't really concentrating on the game itself. They were still both chatting about the recent car chase, and both seemed proud about what they had done. They were ordered to shoot at the tires, but they wished they had been ordered to shoot at Irie himself. They definitely would have caught him then. They talked and laughed like that. When people stopped being on edge, that left them all the more vulnerable. That was a perfect example. That was why it took only 2 seconds to suppress them.
両手を頭の上へ。
The security guards were professionals. They immediately realized the guns Kasai, Akasaka, and Shion were holding weren't toys. They'd already heard there was a gunfight in the basement of the Sonozaki residence. The security guards knew they weren't dealing with amateurs. They also knew they wouldn't hesitate to fire. That was why they surrendered so quickly. They had handcuffs on them already, so it was easy for Kasai and the others to restrain them. The security guards had never thought they'd be wearing the cuffs themselves. They had especially never dreamed of being locked up in a toilet. Their hands were cuffed to pipes behind them as they sat on the toilet seats. Their mouths were stuffed with hand towels and then covered with duct tape. Shion, clearly amused, remarked on how she always wanted to do this to someone. Kasai couldn't help but laugh.
ここまでは順調ですね。問題は地下です。監視カメラで必ず気づかれます。
そのカメラはモノクロ？画面は4分割？
確かそうだったと思います。よくある防犯カメラの画面です。
Those are pretty typical, huh? I'm sure things are different nowadays, of course.
ってことは解像度は良くないですね。なら私いい手を思いつきました。
シオンさん、捕虜の虐待はあまり良くないのでは？
The mountain dogs weren't only locked in the bathroom, but had to go through extra humiliation. What's going on? Radio calls continued to come in from the mountain dogs who were fighting up in the mountains. The security guards listened to them intently over the speakers. From what they could hear, it was obvious the mountain dogs weren't doing well at all. They kept falling into traps, suffering heavy losses, all of which they had never expected. It was clear that the mountain dogs were trapped, but they even started to think that they were being lured into something bigger than a simple military maneuver. The mountain dogs had made a mistake. They assumed the club members went to the mountains to escape from Hinamizawa, but they were wrong. They were simply being lured into their enemy's carefully prepared territory. The panicked voices of the mountain dogs, Takano's yelling, and Okanogi's reprimands could be heard through the speaker. It certainly sounded like a war zone.
大鳥湾より大鳥、休憩時間は終わりだぞ。俺たちも出撃する。壊滅した白鷺のポジションを埋めるんだ。味方の損害率はすでに致命的状況だが、敵は確実に交代を重ねてすでに包囲されつつある。もう一息だ。温存した大鳥で一気に圧殺する。陣頭指揮はサンサが直接取られるそうだ。俺も出るぞ。これで決着させる。おい、隊長が出るぞ。大鳥も上がる。総力戦だ。
なんて奴らだ。ってことはすでに被害は小隊規模にもなるってのか。
俺たちは何者を相手にしてるんだよ。相手はどこの特殊部隊だってんだ。
I don't know if you can call them a special unit. The security guards listening to the battle reports over the radio fluctuated between dismay and rejoicing. A cute chime rang suddenly. It was a warning chime that rang automatically when someone went through the entrance to the basement. When the chime rang, the guards were supposed to check the screen to see who was coming through. The one who looked at the screen needed a moment to comprehend what he was seeing. What is he gonna see? Oh!
おい、入江所長だぞ。
何?
They could see the two security guards on the first floor restraining Irie and some girl.
これ、所長だよな。どういうことだ?
I see what they're doing.
そういうことか。向こうは陽動で、こいつらが富武救出に忍び込もうとしたってことだ。
三佐に所長を連行したと連絡しろ。
A buzzer sounded and a computer panel displayed information about the card being used to enter. Commissioned Officer Pass, ID 0001 Special Grade 1, Lieutenant Colonel Kyosuke Irie, Director. Password, whatever the fuck that is, I guess. Match. Fingerprint confirmation. Come on now. Match. Yeah, this is the proof that the Touch ID that Apple has come up with is, way better and faster. How strange. The security guards brought Irie down. That made sense. But why were they using the director's security access card? They were even using his fingerprint. Why were they having him do that? Wouldn't it be quicker for the guards to do that themselves? One of the guards figured it out, but it was too late. The door to the basement was open, and the four newcomers forced their way inside. They ran through the security camera screen and were headed straight for the security room. They had him. Oh, Jesus. As soon as the door opened, the security guard started firing. Akasaka realized that if it had taken him a second longer to pull back, he would have been riddled with hundreds of bullets. One of the guards pushed the desk onto its side. The paper cups on the desk fell to the floor, spilling coffee everywhere. They used the desk as a barricade. The other two guards started to shoot at random. As long as the guards were shooting at the rescue unit... Oh, excuse me. They could not counterattack. One of the guards activated the emergency alarm, and another picked up the submachine gun off the wall. The other one picked up a gas mask. It was impressive they got their act together so quickly. A situation like this would result in a fierce gun battle, meaning that it would take quite a while for the rescue team to suppress the guards. The emergency alarm sounding in the basement reminded them that their surprise attack had failed.
一気に制圧し損ねた。
でも敵は全員この中。この部屋に釘付けにしているうちにサトシ君と富武さんを救出しちゃいましょう。
The mountain dogs outside would definitely hear that alarm. If they took too long, the enemy would come to block their escape route. Then they'd be trapped inside.
そうだ。確かセキュリティに侵入者対策で確か
Irie started to speak while he tried to recollect it. Shion told him that he should have remembered something like that before they came in. Before Irie remembered, a voice came on over the speakers.
エントランス区画にて緊急事態が発生しました。エントランス区画にて緊急事態が発生しました。問題が解決するまで研究施設内の全区画は緊急閉鎖されます。エントランス区画のスタッフはセキュリティルームに集合し、防毒マスクを着用してください。保安隊員の指示に従ってください。120秒後に研究区画及びエントランス区画には鎮圧用ガスの自動散布が行われます。繰り返します。
どうやら2分以内に制圧して警報を解除しないとヤバいことになりそうだな。
That's a pretty good measure, by the way.
鎮圧用ガスって何ですか?
I did not even think that's pretty smart, actually. Like, obviously it's not completely foolproof. I mean, all they have to do is take you down and pick up the masks or shut down the alarm, but it's a good idea nonetheless.
毒ガス?
I have no idea. How the fuck am I supposed to pronounce that? Where's my fucking voice line, idiot? Come on. If you inhale a lot of it, it's dangerous, but it's not deadly, and it only takes a few seconds to take effect. There are many symptoms, but the most common one is to sneeze for about 30 minutes. Are you shitting me? Isn't that also called red agent? The military used it to secure enemy territories. They either had to run out of there immediately or take over the security room, but since the area had been sealed off, they couldn't escape. But there were armed guards in the security room, and if the rescue unit members even peeked around the corner, they'd be shot at mercilessly.
くそ、ダメだ。これでは狙って撃つなんて到底できない。
インドアの基本はグレネードか。くそ、そんなのないって。
焦って飛び込めば蜂の巣です。どうすればいいんだ。
サトシ君は目前だというのに悔しい。
Shion pressed her forehead against her gun, gritting her teeth in frustration. If Kasai analyzed the situation, or as he analyzed the situation, he stood up and spoke.
皆さん、私に任せてもらいましょう。
Alright. I mean, I have like full trust in that man. The guards in the security room were on edge too. Once the gas was flowing, everything would come to an end, but the guards knew their enemy wouldn't just sit and wait for that to happen. They'd come rushing in, regardless of the counterattack they'd face. Although the guards would still have the upper hand, it would be a point-blank gunfight. They wouldn't come out of it unscathed. Therefore, as the deadline approached, their tension increased. The guards never even considered that the door they opened would be shut again. They fired at the door, leaving many small holes in it. After that, it all went quiet. What were they thinking? There was nowhere to hide. The gas was about to be released. Why did they close the door? For what reason did they do that? That was when a loud explosion punched a hole through the door the size of a fist. Not only the door, but the wall in the security room had a similar hole.
Magnum! 違う。スラックだ。
A calm voice echoed from the other side of the door.
ご名答です。こいつは人間を撃つ弾じゃありません。威力は皆さんほどならすでにご存知でしょう。
The power of a slug bullet is limited to extremely close-range battles, but it is also incredibly powerful. After all, it's fired from a shotgun, but it doesn't scatter. A shotgun is meant to fire scatter shots, but it can also be used to fire only one huge, incredibly powerful bullet. That's the slug. It's usually used for hunting. It's used to shoot at animals, not humans. If it was used on a human, their arms and legs would be shattered, and nothing would be left of their head. It shouldn't even be called a bullet. It should be called a cannon. It would easily pierce through the door, the desk they were using as a barricade, and any guards hiding behind the desk before slamming into the wall. The guards understood very well just how powerful it was. The kind of guns they had shot out many small bullets, therefore they didn't work as well through a door. But their enemies didn't care about the door at all. Their weapon could easily pierce through anything. Hiding behind a desk didn't mean a thing.
あなた方を粉々にできることがご理解できたはずです。死にたくなかったら警報を切っていただきましょう。
落ち着け。もうじきガスが出る。それまでの辛抱だ。
その前に皆さんが内臓をぶちまけることになるとはお考えが至りませんか。
Kasai's voice was extremely intimidating. Only one who truly understood the power of the shotgun could talk that way.
時間がありません。5秒でケツを取ります。5つ数えて警報が切れなければ覚悟していただきます。
どうする？ガスまでまだ60秒くらいあるぞ。
焦るな。向こうだってビビってるんだ。飲まれるんじゃねえ。
That was when a deep voice rang out, reverberating through the pit of their stomachs.
おい、人が親切に話してるのに聞いてねえのか。
It must have been coming from the same person, but it had changed so much so quickly.
この笠井達義がてめえらを生かしてやると言ってんだ。ありがてえとは思わねえのか、ガキどもが。お前ら俺を舐めてんのか。ああ、返事せんか、ガキどもが。
Kasai is such a badass. A roar and an explosion sounded at the same time. The upper half of the door disappeared. Numerous lead balls bounced around in the room, breaking the lights and ricocheting off the walls. Shattering glass fell onto the floor. The shotgun had turned the security room into hell. The hurricane of lead balls blew violently through the room as it shattered, scattered, and destroyed everything. The guards could only cover their heads and pray. They prayed the lead balls wouldn't hit them, and endured the falling glass. Before they had a chance to recover, Kasai jumped in through what was left of the door and kicked the desk aside. He stepped onto the guard's head and yelled at the others.
ガキどもが最初にミンチになりてえのは誰だ。てめえかこら。さっき上等決めやがったのはてめえかこら。
違う。降伏する。撃つな。
何いつまで茶化ひけらかしてんだこら。殺されてえか鬼才。てめえとは築いてきた屍の山の高さが違うんじゃボケ。
すんません。勘弁してください。
They dropped their guns voluntarily and got onto the floor with their hands on their heads. Even Shion couldn't believe what just happened. There were several of them, and all had been amply armed. Kasai had a weapon too, but it was his presence that defeated them. Even the mountain dogs couldn't equal what Kasai once had to go through.
何てめえら昼で始めてんだこら。マスク剥がされてとっとと警報を止めろクソガキ。
停止する。撃つな。
One of the guards got up in a hurry and switched the alarm off. Kasai stood there calmly, but they were only seconds away from the gas releasing. Shion and Akasaka came to their senses and quickly moved into the room to help Kasai subdue the guards. Well, that worked.
葛西あんた。
こんな真似は二度としないつもりでしたが、緊急措置でした。忘れてください。
That was the Kasai Shion knew. But in the end, Kasai hadn't killed anyone. Shion remembered Kasai telling her how terrifying shotguns were in the basement of the Sonozaki residence. That was Shotgun Tatsu, whom all the people in Shishibone were so afraid of.
急ぎましょう。どの道すでに警報は鳴らされています。長居はできません。
そうですね。急ぎましょう。
Akasaka and Kasai pulled out the guard's handcuffs and restrained them.
サトシ君、どこ？
Now that the security room was under their control, Shion realized there was nothing keeping her from seeing Satoshi. She was getting anxious. Irie had shown her the map. He must be down here, she thought. Shion had already started to run.
私も行ってきます。サトシ君と富武さんを助けないと。
すみません。頼みます。
1、2、3、
Uh-oh.
4、5。
Akasaka felt a chill running down his spine. Irie said there were 6 security guards. Shion wasn't paying attention to anything else. She was only thinking about her reunion with Satoshi. And she still can't hear in her left ear. To make things worse, the security guard is waiting on the left side of Shion. Shion had to regret letting her guard down just a bit too early. The mountain dog jumped out and grabbed Shion. He choked her neck with his thick arm. There was no way Shion could get out of this situation alone. Irie saw what had happened. Fortunately, their backs were turned towards him. Here was Irie's chance to attack the enemy. But today, Irie had lost a lot of confidence in himself. He felt he hadn't done anything right all day. Fighting wasn't his expertise, so there really wasn't anything he could have done. But he was disappointed in himself for not being able to help just the same. But in that moment, he was the only one who could do anything. If possible, he wanted to get Kasai or Akasaka. They were both very reliable, and they could take out this man in an instant. But there was no time for that. Only in this moment was his back facing Irie. And if Irie didn't do anything, the dog was sure to take Shion hostage, creating a deadlock. Enemy backup could arrive at any moment, so being in a deadlock would mean death. Therefore, Irie couldn't depend on anyone else. He had to resolve the situation himself. He only had one chance. Once the unit member turned around, the deadlock would begin. But was there even a way for Irie to knock him down in one shot? No, he had to... He must. There had to be something that only Irie could do. Irie took a mechanical pencil out of his pocket. It was probably the strongest weapon he had.
やってくれますね、所長。
Irie stabbed the man's neck with his mechanical pencil, but it only scratched him a little. What was he thinking? The man drew his gun, pressed it to Shion's head, and created a stalemate, just as Irie predicted.
ごめんなさい。私、サトシ君のことで頭がいっぱいだった。
Shion's eyes were filled with tears.
さて所長、月並みで恐縮ですが、他の侵入者ともども武装解除してもらいましょう。さっきのとんでもない音は相当でかい銃を持ち込んでますね。撃たれたらたまりませんので。
Come on, Irie, remember Kasai-san from earlier. You can do it.
笑わせます。この入江機関の、そして研究区画で、この入江京介に取引などできるつもりですか？
何？
これは高野さんの開発したシャーペン型の偽装注射器です。薬物については説明が必要ですか？
なんだと？
If a regular person had said it, it would not have worked. But Irie was wearing his white coat, and the basement was his territory. What he just said sounded very believable, especially to those that aren't really following the research, they just know about it. Yeah, that can definitely be believable. He wanted to believe that Irie was lying, but he started to feel an itch on the back of his neck.
H178 は高野さんが生み出した170番台の最高傑作です。いかなる治療手段もなく、わずか数分で錯乱、妄想、頭痛、鼻水、鼻詰まり、お通じの不通、数々の激症を引き起こし、最後には自らの爪でお尻をかき破って死んでしまいます。治療法はただ一つ。1分以内。この
嘘だ。そんなのあるはず。
すでに30秒経過ですね。そろそろ心臓を経由して全身に回り始めてくる頃で、全身のリンパ腺にかゆみは出ませんか？ 寝るときにいびきやおならが出ませんか？
Shion could only watch this pathetic act in silence. But for the mountain dog, who worked at such a shady research center, what Irie said sounded totally believable.
くそわかった。降参する。早くその治療薬を打ってくれ。
はて、言葉遣いがなっていませんね。
わかりました。降参します。早く注射をしてください。
ダメですね。ご主人様への言葉遣いがなっていません。
You are really pushing your fucking luck, my
一度
man.
だけ指導しましょう。いいですか？このお注射はお尻に注射しなくてはなりません。まず四つん這いになってズボンをずらし、お尻を出します。
Oh my god.
その際お尻は突き出すようにし、両肩はぺったり床につけるようにします。右手の親指の爪を噛みながら振り返り、そうそう。そしてあなたはご主人様、この私めにお注射をくださいませと哀願するのです。言えませんか？
Oh, these voice lines were allowed in the game, but oh, if you bring up anything that's like medical or political or war related, no.
嘆かわしい。そもそも古来メイドはご主人様への絶対忠誠を誓い、滅私暴行によって美徳と文化を築き上げてきたのです。そんな素晴らしい社会を作ったのに、近年の日本はどうですか？メイドの心を忘れた若者はガングロ、ルーズソックス、派手なハワイ装束。
Yeah, we've definitely done all of that, you know, us youngsters.
大和なでしこが情けない。
And I guess Japanese women have also done that, I think. I don't know.
お肌をスレスレにお手入れして過剰な日焼けには要注意。ソックスはもちろんニーソですが、黒のストッキングも素晴らしい。いや、でもたまにはハイソックスも素敵です。そして培われるメイドの心。
Hey, remember when Irie was in a car wreck?
思えば日本はわびさびとメイドを忘れました。その結果がこの低出産率、超高齢化社会。
Remember when we were rescuing people?
今や熟年人口は増え続け、萌えメディアもその層をターゲットにするのは時間の問題。やがてはストライクゾーン遥か真上とされてきたおばさんにもスポットライトが浴びせられ、いつしかそれが主流にすらなってゆく。おばさんとメイドの組み合わせはまさにトイレ用洗剤、混ぜるな危険。それを混ぜるとなぜかメイドでなく家政婦さんになり、急にトレンディードラマから昼ドラっぽくなっちゃうのです。それはつまりメイドの絶滅。その時月は砕け、悲しみの雨を地上に降らし、地球をアステロイドベルトが覆う。それこそが予言書に記された最後の審判の日。全世界を偉大なるメイドカチューシャが覆いしとき、真のメイド世界が開かれる。そうだ、そうそう、図が高いメイドの魂よ、ここに集うのだ。
What the fuck? What is this? What the fuck am I looking at? You know, I was gonna complain that there haven't been a lot of CGs in this chapter, but I guess this is what I get for even thinking that. What in the fuck is this JoJo's shit? Wait, was there a stand? Did I see a stand?
Made in heaven!
Oh my fucking god.
大丈夫かい、しおんちゃん。
Are you fucking kidding me?
ええ、ありがとうです。監督、赤坂さんたち来てやっつけてくれましたよ。
まだメイド教育が終わっていないというのに。
先生、そいつは後ほどに。
So,
サトシ君。
what the fuck was all that? Like, I honestly kind of blanked out because who wouldn't? But yeah, that was something else. There really was nobody left to stop her. Shion ran down the hallway at full speed. It was right there. There was a huge window in front of Shion that allowed her to look inside. Shion threw herself at the window. Satoshi was there lying on the bed. He was sleeping with an IV connected to his arm. There were some wires attached to his forehead and chest to observe his brainwaves. The waves of light displayed on the machine they connected to prove that he was at least still alive. Come on, game. But he might be sleeping very deeply. His face was pale, and he looked like there was barely any life left in him.
生きてるんだよね。サトシ君、生きてるんだよね。
落ち着いてください。入江先生、早く彼を。
Irie brought in a stretcher to load Satoshi onto. Kasai opened it up.
早くサトシ君を、サトシ君を。
シオンさん、彼を出す前に、一つだけどうしても約束してほしいことがあります。
Irie gave Shion a condition. What is he saying now? Shion angrily thought.
今から彼を担架に移しますが、決して起こそうとしてはいけません。いいですね。絶対約束してください。
どうして起こしちゃいけないんですか?
Because he's gonna try and fucking kill everybody. That was the first thing Shion wanted to do. She wanted to tell him personally that he was free. But Irie was telling her that she couldn't do that.
辛いことですが、真実だけを手短に話します。サトシ君はあの日、末期発症により脳と心に深刻なダメージを受けました。幸いなことに命に異常はありませんが、サトシ君には目に入るものの敵味方、過度の被害妄想と恐怖に取りつかれ、それから逃れるために急祖が猫を噛むように目の前にいるのが誰であろうと襲いかかります。昨年不用心なスタッフが整形手術を必要とするほどの大怪我をしました。
Where was that fragment?
彼はたとえあなたであっても例外としません。
Shion finally noticed it. While Satoshi was covered in a blanket on the bed, there were two belts over that blanket, holding him down on the bed, and that he also had leather straps around his arms. He was restrained to the bed. The belts had some marks on them.
そんな、それって治るんですか?
The silence that followed was cruel. Irie wanted to tell her that he would be cured, but he was a doctor. He knew he shouldn't say anything irresponsible, and so that was why he couldn't say anything.
何それ? 何それ? じゃあ何? サトシ君はもうって言ってくれないの? 私の頭を撫でてくれないの? なんで?
Shion cried as she pounded on the glass.
いけません。彼のことをどうか彼を起こさないでください。
Yeah, if you really care about everybody else too, like, come on.
それはきっと彼が望むことでもあるのです。起こせばそのサトシ君の姿はあなたを必ず傷つけます。そしてサトシ君もその姿をあなたに見せたいとは思わないはずです。ですから分かってください。
そんな
Shion slid down the window and hit the floor, crying uncontrollably. She scratched at the floor. The sad reunion and her anger made her claw at the tiles. If Satoshi's smile was there under the floor, Shion would scratch until all of her nails were gone. But Satoshi wasn't under the floor. He was right there. He was sleeping on the bed. And he wasn't supposed to be woken up.
ですが、決して悪い話だけではないのです。微弱ですが、この1年、脳波の傾向に回復の兆しが見られるんです。
That was really weird. He said the same thing twice.
人間の体は弱くありません。それは脳も同じです。脳に致命的損傷を負った人が奇跡的に回復を遂げたという報告は世界中にあります。サトシ君は帰ってこようとしています。必死に戦っています。そして私も負けない。 帰ろうと戦うサトシ君をこちら側に連れ戻そうと、私は今後も研究を続けます。そして必ずサトシ君をひなみ沢に連れて帰ってみせます。
The brain is what moves people, but the brain is only a part of a body. If something happens to the brain, the person will end up changing. That change hurts the person himself as well as the people around him, and hurting others hurts that person even more. Irie recalled his parents. The abnormal change in his father, his mother was not able to understand that it was caused by a brain disorder. That was enough. That was sad enough. That was the reason why Irie became a neurologist. Right now, there was a young boy before him, and a young girl. Before him was a fragment of the sadness from that day, and a fragment of that day's regret. After his father's death, Irie learned that he was misunderstood, and that it was due to a brain disorder. But it was all too late by then. Yeah, a little bit. He regretted not getting into the study of brains 5 years earlier, but it was too late. But now he had studied and experienced so much. He had achieved things, and he had confidence. But he still had regrets about that day. Irie holds his fist tightly and spoke without hiding his tears.
絶対です。命を懸けてもいい。私は絶対にサトシ君をひなみ沢へ連れ帰ります。この入江京介が絶対というのです。そしてサトシ君も帰ってこようとしている。互いが手を伸ばし合って届かぬわけがない。だからシオンさん、私を信じてその日まで待ってください。絶対この入江京介が彼を連れ帰ります。
Irie vowed from the bottom of his heart, and he realized something. Irie realized that everything he had done was in preparation for this day. The two people in front of him weren't his parents, but he was going to rid himself of his regrets and devote himself to that promise.
本当に本当ですね。サトシ君、帰ってくるんですね。本当に。
絶対です。私の人生のすべてを捧げてでも彼をひなみ沢へ連れ帰ります。だからシオンさん、その日を信じて私と待ちましょう。そしてきっと私たちで彼を迎えてあげましょう。その日まで待てますか？この悲しい事実をさとこちゃんに内緒にできますか？
はい。サトシ君、帰ってくるなら何でも我慢します。
あれを見てください。
Ah, there is something in that corner of that dark room. It was the giant teddy bear that Satoshi had bought that day.
彼がさとこちゃんの誕生日のために一生懸命に働いて貯めたお金で買ったものです。あれをサトシ君がさとこちゃんに渡さないでこの世を去るなんて考えられますか？考えられないでしょう。サトシ君は必ずあのぬいぐるみと一緒にあなたとさとこちゃんのところへ帰ってきます。どうかその日まで我慢をしてください。
お見舞いに来てもいいですか？
もちろんです。
彼の脇に座ったり本を読んであげたりしてもいいですか？それから
いいですよ。きっと彼も喜ぶでしょう。
Shion started to cry again. Akasaka came in with Toмотake, but he couldn't say anything to her.
無事でよかったです。あなたに番犬を呼んでもらえれば全ては解決できます。
実はそうもいかないのです。さっきの保安室の銃撃戦で無線装置が壊れたようなのです。山犬は非常時対応で村全体の通信手段を遮断しているでしょうから、ここの無線装置が損傷した以上、東京へ連絡をするには村を脱出するほかないんです。
となれば車で強行突破するしかないでしょう。ミオンさんたちもよく時間を稼いでくれています。 しかし籠城ですから、やがては追い詰められるでしょう。一刻も早く富武さんを村の外へ脱出させ、番犬を呼び寄せる必要があります。
困った問題が一つ。彼らが非常時対応で電話線を遮断しているなら、同じ対応で町へ通じる街道を封鎖することになっているのです。車両突破を防ぐため、彼らには歩兵が携帯する対戦車榴弾砲が一つ与えられているはずです。
RPG7 ですか。戦車を想定していないでしょうから、弾頭は榴弾でしょうが、直撃しなくても車がひっくり返るかもしれません。相当厄介な相手です。
しかし街道を車で突破しなかったら無駄な時間がかかりすぎる。迂回などしていたら日が暮れます。みんなもよく戦ってくれていると思うが、暮れるまで持ちこたえられるとは思えません。急がないと危険です。
もたもたしてる暇はないです。何が何でも富武のおじさまを沖宮に大至急。監督はサトシ君と安全な場所へ。とにかく大至急出ましょう。ここに敵が殺到するのも時間の問題です。
Shion's eyes were swollen from crying, but she had calmed down. Satoshi's safety depended on their victory. They had to win for his sake too. Although this is a very sad situation, Satoshi was alive and he would be back someday. Shion understood that, but yet more tears poured from her eyes. Sis, everyone, thank you. We've succeeded over here. Uh-oh. Well, back to seeing what all Crazy's doing, or what she's up to at least. Back out over to the decoy, distraction, whatever you want to call it team. But at least the rescue mission was a success, which is kind of surprising. I thought it would be a little crazier. Not to say that that wasn't crazy, but yeah, you know. Okay, so we'll end it there. Thank you all for watching this episode. Craziness all around. I don't know. There's so much to really think about as we kind of wrap things up. I've kind of started to notice that a lot of these huge character plot points have been kind of coming up and just like very quickly addressed. Kind of like how in chapter 7, like Rena, Keiichi, and all of them were thinking back on like previous world lines. Not world lines, sorry, I'm thinking all Steins Gate here. On previous worlds, other chapters that we've already accomplished, so we don't have to redo their whole segment again. They've already come and dealt with their issues themselves in a way and talked to people, and so that was quickly just referenced and that was it. And then we're kind of getting the same thing here, the whole Mion Shion deal, the fact that they kind of swapped their names, that was quickly brought up. I guess I don't know if the whole Satoshi thing here is like a quickly brush off sort of deal, but it is being wrapped up. You know, we're finally learning about Satoshi. Shion is able to come to terms with the current situation. Things are getting wrapped up. Some a little bit quicker than others, obviously, but a lot is happening. Besides this big fight to the end here, a lot is happening that's just kind of tying everything up. I guess it's the true sign that we really are coming to the end of our lovely adventure in Higurashi. But it's okay, we still have some episodes to go, I'm pretty sure. Thank you all for watching this episode. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.